All right, the past performances are out. We're going to handicap the Kentucky Derby right now. We'll start with the horse that is the morning line favorite, and he drew the rail, the feared number 1 post. That is Renegade for Todd Pletcher and Arad Ortiz. Renegade has made just 2 starts this year, both impressive victories from off the pace. He's got that closing running style. And in the Arkansas Derby last time, he unleashed a devastating stretch kick, a wide burst, and he won the race by 4 lengths going away, looking every bit like a horse that would love a 1.25 miles. Renegade's last defeat coming in the Remsen Stakes as a 2-year-old going 1.125 miles at Aqueduct. And as we mentioned in a previous video, he had a quarter crack before that race and had to miss a couple of workouts, had to miss probably a week or 2 of training time. So Renegade was understandably short for the Remsen, but 2 races so far as a 3-year-old, 2 very impressive stakes wins. Arad Ortiz is going to have to really earn his money on this one from the rail. He's going to have to work out a good trip from off the pace, and a real fast pace would benefit Renegade and Ortiz both in this race. Because if they go fast early, it's going to string the field out, and there's going to be space to maneuver. It's not going to be all bunched up and crowded. And when they do go fast, you can come through inside of horses in this race, as Calvin Burrell and Brian Hernandez have showed us many times in recent years. The real concern for Renegade's chances will be is if that fast pace doesn't materialize, and he's back there in 14th, 15th, 16th position early behind a slow pace and a bunched up field. If they're going 47 and the field's kind of bunched up, Ortiz is going to have to be a real magician to weave his way through. Renegade obviously has a good chance to win this race, but there are a lot of horses in this race who do have a good look and good chance to win, and you're not going to get a price with Renegade. So I am more inclined to look elsewhere to horses who will be more attractive odds. The number 2 horse is Albus for trainer Riley Mott, Manny Franco in the irons. Albus stepped up and won the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct last time, closing from 11 lengths out of it to win by 1.25 lengths at 11-1 odds. Here's the thing about the Wood Memorial. That race kind of collapsed. They won a 22 and change first quarter, 47-1 for the half, and horses who are positioned 8th, 9th, and 10th, all at double-digit odds and all well off the pace, emerged as your 1, 2, 3 finishers of that race. The final time was very unimpressive. 151-3 was the final time of the Wood Memorial. Just a race earlier, the 3-year-old fillies in the Gazelle, they ran almost a second faster than the boys did in the Wood Memorial. Albus only has 4 career starts, and it's certainly possible he's an improving horse. But even if he shows significant improvement in this race, it won't even be good enough to get him a piece. To me, he is a complete throwout. The number 3 horse is Intrepido for the excellent trainer Jeff Mullen. Intrepido had a wide trip in the Santa Anita Derby and could do no better than 4th, beaten 10 lengths. 2 starts back, he was 2nd in the Bob Lewis. This is his 3rd start of the year. He is just another horse that is going to have to absolutely run the race of his life to even have a shot at getting 4th in this race. The number 4 horse is Litmus Test for Bob Baffert, Martin Garcia. Key equipment change here. The blinkers are on for this race. They took the blinkers off in the Arkansas Derby, and the horse slipped at the break. Normally a speed horse, but he blew the break in the Arkansas Derby without the blinkers, got caught behind horses, and that's not his running style. Litmus Test is better than what he showed in the Arkansas Derby. He is adding the blinkers, but I believe he's nothing more than a pace factor in here. You see, he made the lead in the Rebel and finished 3rd in his 3-year-old debut. He had a sharp workout on April 23rd in the blinkers, and I think Baffert's just going to take a shot and send him to the lead. Even if Litmus Test is able to get away with like a 47.5, which is, I believe, very unlikely, I still don't think he'll have enough, even under that most favorable a scenario. So for me, Litmus Test is a complete throwout. The number 5 horse is Right to Party for Kenny McPeak and Chris Elliott. And this horse, as I mentioned in the Wood Memorial, the pace was way too fast. It was 3 long shots who were positioned way back in the pack who run 1, 2, 3, all at big odds. You see, Right to Party was 38-1 odds in the Wood Memorial. And not to sound like a broken record, but the girls in the Gazelle for 3-year-old fillies. One race earlier, went almost a second faster. Right to Party to me is a complete throwout, and I am glad he's in this race because there's a lot of unsophisticated people that show up and bet the Derby, and they might like that name, Right to Party. Who doesn't like to party? So if people out there are betting names or hunches or whatever, maybe they're in a mood to party, maybe they'll bet this horse. This horse should be about 200 to 1 in this race, in my opinion. The number 6 is Commandment, a winner of 4 straight races. This horse is very seasoned and professional. He's going for an outstanding trainer in Brad Cox. In the Florida Derby, there was really no pace that race, and Commandment was able to come from last to first with this just tremendous late rally. This is a rock-solid horse who's run several good races in a row. One thing I will say that's kind of turned me off just a touch on the horse is that he did train pretty good going into the Florida Derby. Usually not a good workhorse. Did train okay going into the Florida Derby. I'm not saying he's training bad going into this race, but I was hoping to see more from him in the morning. And this is a tough read for me because I really wanted to pick this horse and bet this horse, but now I'm not so sure about that. He will be on all my exotic tickets, and you gotta love this horse. Just a solid closer, very seasoned for a horse with only 5 starts. He's been in all different kinds of racing scenarios. He'll stay inside, he'll weave through traffic. Very game horse. Commandment is a very obvious contender, but you are not going to get big odds on him. And this is a kind of race where it does look like there's several in there who have a shot to jump up and run a winning race. So moving along, the number 7, Danon Bourbon, Japanese horse. This horse is a perfect 3 for 3. And if you remember my Derby handicapping video I posted here last year, there was a horse from Japan that was taking a lot of buzz named Luxor Cafe. And as I mentioned in that video, there was a race of Luxor Cafes where a filly who was second to him ran what I thought was clearly a better race. It was a filly named Promise Jean. And look, I am no expert on Japanese horse racing, don't proclaim to be one, but you could clearly see Promise Jean was better than Luxor Cafe that day. I told you Luxor Cafe was a throwout. They ended up betting him down to 8 to 1. I think he run like 12th or something. Well, in the case of Danon Bourbon, this horse to me looks like a complete wild card. I tried to watch his races. You know, they're all nice, impressive wins in Japan. I don't know who he was beating in those races. But I will say this horse clearly has a U.S. dirt pedigree. Sire Maxfield was a good dirt horse out of a Tappet mare. And Danon Bourbon's second dam, Wild Gams, was a phenomenal sprinter on the dirt. Very quick filly. And obviously he was foaled in Kentucky and they paid $450,000 for him as a yearling, did the Japanese. So Danon Bourbon, I gotta be honest, I don't know what he's gonna do in this race. I don't have a read on him like I had a read on Luxor Cafe last year. For all I know, this horse could be like some wonder horse, and I've got a lot of respect for Japanese racing. But I like enough of these other horses that I am going to have to look elsewhere. I'll just cross my fingers and hope Danon Bourbon isn't some freak. Moving along to the number 8, So Happy for trainer Mark Glatt, the veteran, Mike Smith in the irons. And this horse won the Santa Anita Derby last time. Got a good number too, a 100 buyer figure. So Happy is a real nice horse with 3 wins and 4 starts. His only defeat coming in the San Felipe. When he was used early to go up and press the favorite Brandt, he won the battle and lost the war in that race. Brandt spit the bit, but So Happy couldn't stay on through the stretch and finished 3rd. I gotta be honest, he won't be on my tickets. I'm not gonna bet him, but I also can't endorse him either, and he will not be on any of my tickets, and maybe he's a horse that I'll be kicking myself afterwards. I will say this, though, about So Happy. There have been several Santa Anita Derby winners who I don't think were as good as him and got a lot of love and a lot of hype going into the race. And it seems like he hasn't really captured the attention of the West Coast bettors. And those would be the ones who would be likely to support him in this race. And hey, this is certainly a lightly raced horse that's run some pretty fast races and fits with these horses. I just think some others are better projections at 1.25 miles. I just like others more. And even at his attractive odds, I'm just going to take a shot and try to beat him. Moving along, next is the Puma. The Puma is a very pretty chestnut, got that beautiful red flowing hair. I could see him getting some money just based on his name, his looks. But he is a very good horse, make no mistake about it. He goes for trainer Gustavo Delgado and Javier Castellano. They teamed up to win a Kentucky Derby on Mage a couple years ago. The Puma's had very wide trips in his last 2 races, was widest in the Florida Derby, widest in the Tampa Derby. In the Sam Davis, he got locked in inside. And Tampa Bay, one thing about Tampa Bay Downs, that is not the place that you want to be stuck in traffic on the inside. That's a track that has a favorable outside flow. And I think you can excuse the Puma's 3rd place finish in the Sam Davis. Certainly a talented horse, but he is getting the kind of love that a So Happy's not getting. Really, on paper, doesn't look too much different than So Happy in terms of like both of them coming off a 100 buyer, both of them only having 4 races, both of them flashing some nice pure talent. But the Puma will be about half the price of So Happy, maybe even shorter than that. So the Puma's another one that's not going to be on my tickets, and he's got enough ability where I might end up regretting that, but that's just the way it goes. You got to make a stand. Next, we come to another Japanese invader, Wonder Dean, and last time out on the Dubai World Cup undercard, Maidan UAE Derby, Wonder Dean tracked a quick pace set by Sixspeed and was able to wear him down late. The final time doesn't look fast at all, 1:59 for a mile and 3/16, but that was an extremely slow track that day. Forever Young, who was the Breeders' Cup Classic winner that day, got beat by Magnitude in a final time of like 2:05 or something. It was a very deep, tiring track. Wonder Dean run a nice race. But I got to say, other horses in this race have more appeal. And if Wonder Dean could beat me coming from Japan to Saudi Arabia to UAE and then flying in here, he's like a globetrotter. If I'm going to lose to the globetrotter Wonder Dean, so be it. But I don't think he'll do it. Next, we come to Incredibolt, another runner in here for Riley Mott, this one going for Mott and Torres. And Incredibolt does have 2 nice wins as a 2-year-old at Churchill Downs, one a maiden special weight at Churchill Downs, one that Grade 3 Street Sense Stakes. This is a 2-year-old stake race at Churchill that Sovereignty won the year before, and I think people are going to know that. Incredibolt won that race nicely from off the pace. Didn't exactly get a big number that day, but it was still a good performance. From there, Incredibolt came back in the Holy Bull Stakes and just absolutely laid an egg. I have no idea what this performance was all about. It was just a non-effort that day. And he nicely won the Virginia Derby by 4 lengths. This final time here, a 1:47.3. That's a fast final time for a mile and an eighth. But Colonial Downs is like the Bonneville Salt Flats. If you know anything about the Bonneville Salt Flats, it's like land speed records. Let me tell you about that March 14th card at Colonial Downs. There was a 6-furlong maiden race that went in like absolutely supersonic time. They had 2 races at a mile that went in 1:33 and 2 apiece. Both mile races went 1:33 and 2 back-to-back on this card. Track records were being set. And the winner of last year's Virginia Derby was a Wayne Lucas horse named American Promise. American Promise went like 1:46 and 2 for a mile and an eighth when he won last year. And they made American Promise 30-1 on the morning line, as they should have. And people bet that horse to 12-1. Like they're betting the time is what they were betting last year. This wasn't 1:46 and 2 like the Virginia Derby winner last year. The speed of the racing surface has a huge impact on final time. With that said, Incredibolt's not the easiest horse to knock. Does have a couple wins over the track. Has a stake win over the track. Virginia Derby was a nice little race. He was kind of stuck in traffic in mid-pack for a little bit. Burst clear to win by 4 lengths. But I've simply got to play against this horse for the fact that he's going to get overbet based on this final time, based on having a 2-year-old stakes win at Churchill. This wasn't exactly the strongest running of the Street Sense here. So Incredibolt will not be on any of my tickets. If he beats me, he beats me. I'll tip my cap, but I just don't see it. Next, we have Chief Wallaby making just his 4th start and adding blinkers for trainer Bill Mott. These are the connections of last year's Derby winner Sovereignty, trainer Bill Mott, jockey Junior Alvarado. Chief Wallaby does what Mott horses usually don't do. He won first time out, and he beat a very good horse, the Puma, in that 7-furlong debut race at Gulfstream. Second time out, he was right there with Commandment, running second in the Fountain of Youth. Then he was third, beaten just a half length in a tough Florida Derby. The Florida Derby, the deepest of the prep races. Chief Wallaby does have some upside to him. He is trained excellently in the blinkers. And to me, he's a contender. It's just about what price will he be. If Chief Wallaby's double-digit odds, he's certainly going to be on all of my tickets. But if Chief Wallaby becomes like the wise guy buzz horse that attracts a lot of money, and he's 7-8 to 1, something like that, I'm going to have to just take a shot against him on price, on value. This horse is certainly a contender, one of the ones that might jump forward. I think you got to make sure that you're getting a fair price. Moving along, next is Silent Tactic, and this horse reportedly had a bruised foot in between the Rebel and Arkansas Derby, so there was a foot bruise there. Trainer Mark Casse had to deal with that foot bruise. And Silent Tactic didn't run a bad race in the Arkansas Derby. He was second. The trainer of Silent Tactic thinks he's going to run a lot better going into this race now that the foot bruise is out of the way. And Silent Tactic does have a nice closing running style and is a horse that has been first or second in all 6 lifetime races, never once the favorite. You always seem to get a price on Silent Tactic, and you'll certainly get a price on him in this race. He's a horse that's going to need a very fast pace. For Silent Tactic to get on the ticket, they're going to have to go rocking and rolling early. Like if they're going 45-3, 45-4, Silent Tactic's got a big shot to be on the ticket at a price. If a real hot pace doesn't develop, though, I think he's going to have trouble. I'm not considering Silent Tactic on the win end of any of my tickets, but, maybe in that 4th slot, in the Superfecta, I'll give him a look in that 4th slot. Next, we come to Potente for trainer Bob Baffert and Juan Hernandez, and that's a very strong team. They win at 41%. Baffert and Hernandez, 41% when they team up. Potente's only had 3 career starts. He's improved significantly with each start, and I thought his Santa Anita Derby was a lot better than people give him credit for. He was hooked head and head. He was hooked head and head on the lead the whole way with Robusta, and I don't think that's the kind of trip he wants. 2 starts back in the San Felipe, he won nicely from off the pace, and he did it that day over a track that was very slow. The Santa Anita Handicap, a Grade 1 race for older horses, was run that same day, and they went 2:05.17 for a mile and a quarter. So it was a slow, deep track at Santa Anita on March 7th, and Potente was able to just grind it out and come with a nice late run. This horse has a big late development pedigree. Sweet Sting by Awesome Again out of Perfect Sting. The second dam of this one, Perfect Sting, won the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf at 11 furlongs. Awesome Again Breeders' Cup Classic at 10 furlongs. There's big-time stamina and late development in this pedigree. And at 20 to 1 odds, I'm hoping Potente's got another nice forward move in him. I know Baffert's training him real aggressive into this race, and it's going to be all about the trip with Potente. Thankfully, Baffert has that other horse in there that they're going to try to go to the lead with. And if Potente is able to get a nice stalking trip in like 5th or 6th position in the clear, I think he's a horse that could really surprise some people. There are things that have to go right, but at the 20 to 1 morning line, Potente is going to be on my tickets. And next we have yet another very lightly raced horse for very strong contentions. This is Emerging Market for trainer Chad Brown, Flavien Prat riding. Emerging Market didn't start as a 2-year-old. He actually had pneumonia as a 2-year-old, kind of set him back. But he had an excellent debut at Tampa, beating a horse named Power Shift, who is Renegade's workmate. The horse he beat in that maiden race, Power Shift, came back and was a disappointing 6th in the Tampa Bay Derby. But if you watch the replay of that race, everything in the world went wrong for Power Shift. He blew the brake, got in all kinds of trouble. It was almost 15 lengths back to a horse named Make My Day in that Tampa race, and Make My Day won his next start at Gulfstream Park in a maiden special weight race. You don't usually see horses getting beat 15 lengths in a Tampa Bay Downs maiden special come right back and win at Gulfstream at the maiden special weight level in his next start. There was a horse that got beat 40 lengths in this race that come back and win 2 in a row at Tampa. This was a tough maiden race. So Emerging Market comes out of that, and Chad Brown puts him in the Louisiana Derby next time out. Had an outside post, was wide on both turns, was caught like 3 wide on both turns. Got the job done in the Louisiana Derby. But it wasn't the type of performance you get really excited about. I was hoping Emerging Market might be a little more impressive than he was that day. This is a horse that is trained in South Florida at Payson Park, and he's gotten on a van the morning of the race. He vanned into Tampa, vanned into New Orleans, and won the Louisiana Derby. 2 very good races, and they were road wins. I mean, they were true road wins vanning in the day of the race. Chad Brown's had this horse stabled at Churchill right now, and he's had a nice work over the track. He looks like he's training real good into this race. This is a horse who's got the potential to run a breakout race, I think. It's just going to be a matter of price. What price are you going to get? If emerging market's like 9-1, that's just not good enough for me. I need him to kind of fall through the cracks a little. If he's in that 15-1, 16-1 range, it becomes real attractive at that price. Emerging market certainly has the talent. He's very likely to go forward, but it is a tough ask for a horse making just his third career start to win the Kentucky Derby. You're going to want to get a price if you bet him. Next, we have Pavlovian for trainer Doug O'Neill and Edwin Maldonado. Pavlovian 3 starts back. I mean, what a horror show that was. He ran a couple races there without blinkers. They're just horrendous trips. They put the blinkers on him. He won the Sunland Derby, $500,000 Sunland Derby. Second in the Louisiana Derby to emerging market. Beat a horse named Golden Tempo, who I think actually has a little shot in this race. Pavlovian is one of the few horses in this race who has speed and might be on the lead, but I just can't see him getting that easy lead 47 by himself because Baffert is going to send Litmus test in the blinkers. Sixspeed, who's right outside of him, is a horse that goes blasting out and sets very fast paces in the desert. Pavlovian is a cool horse, but he's not going to be on any of my tickets. Next, we have Sixspeed, an invader from the desert. We got a Dubai Raider, Sixspeed. One thing I'll say about Sixspeed, I like the ownership involved. These are some good guys here in this ownership, but Sixspeed is a horse with a lot of early speed. He's not going to be anything more than a pace factor in here. Sixspeed's just not going to be able to get an easy enough pace with Litmus Test and Pavlovian in the race, and frankly, I just don't think he's good enough. He will be off my tickets. And next we have number 18, Further Ado for trainer Brad Cox, Johnny Velasquez in the iron. And this horse won the Grade 1 Bluegrass by 11 lengths last time out. He's had just 2 preps. He's making his 3rd start. You got to wonder, though, if he's just a horse that loves Keeneland. He lights it up at Keeneland. He has a 20-length maiden win at Keeneland, and then that 11-length Grade 1 win at Keeneland. Does have a Grade 2 victory at Churchill Downs, but it wasn't that type of performance. Here's the thing with Further Ado. His best race is better than anyone else's best race. If he runs back to the Bluegrass, someone's going to have to jump way forward to beat him. His Bluegrass win was tremendous. And that race is the fastest on everyone's numbers, whether it's Beyer numbers, Ragozin numbers, Thorograph numbers. Any speed figure maker who has a clue has Further Ado the fastest horse in this race. He's trained well enough coming into this race, and he's a horse that I think he might be the most likely winner of this race. I think Further Ado might be the most likely winner of this race. But even with that said, 6-1 odds, is that enough price? Is that enough price? Look, he is the fastest horse in this race. Fast horses win races. He can stalk the pace. He'll make his move on the turn. There certainly is a question, though. Can he get back to this race in the Bluegrass? Is he a Keeneland specialist type horse? That question will be answered on the far turn in this race. So Further Ado is certainly a horse that you got to use on your tickets, and maybe the kind of horse that you use more in the top slots of your tickets than underneath. I don't know if I want to put Further Ado 3rd or 4th on any of my tickets. I think he's either going to run 1-2, 1st or 2nd, or bomb. It's going to be one or the other is kind of the read that I've got with Further Ado. So I won't be putting Further Ado 4th on any of my tickets, but he's got a big shot to win. 19 is Golden Tempo, Cherie DeVoe, Jose Ortiz. This horse has only made 4 starts, and this is a horse that comes from way off the pace. Like, this horse will be, this horse might be positioned like 17th or 18th early, and maybe 12, 15 lengths off the pace. And frankly, the faster the pace, the better for this horse. This horse needs a real fast pace in front of him. He will come running through the lane. I think he's trained well into this race, and he's a horse that's got a long shot look for underneath in the exotics. I'm not brave enough to pick this horse to win. I don't even know if he's good enough to get 2nd, but he is the kind of horse for 3rd or 4th to spice up your exotic tickets at a good number. And finally, the number 20 is Full Effort for trainer Brad Cox and Tyler Gaffleone. This is another wild card horse. This horse has made 7 career starts. Never run on the dirt, though. You've got 4 races on grass to start his career, and then you got 3 starts on Tapeta at Turfway Park. He was a nice winner of the Grade 3 Jeff Ruby Stakes by 2.5 lengths last time out. You really want to take a horse that's never run on dirt before in the Kentucky Derby? I mean, I think Animal Kingdom was able to pull that off. but that is a big ask. And one thing about Full Effort, he does have a good dirt pedigree. Out of an Awesome Again mare, there's 3 in this race that are out of Awesome Again mares. And Full Effort's mother here, the dam Call Me the Squeeze, she ran a lot of races on both dirt and turf and was equally good on both surfaces. Call Me the Squeeze dropped Power Squeeze, who was a grade 1 winner at 1.25 miles on dirt. So Full Effort's got a sibling. I believe it's a half sibling. I think Power Squeeze was by Union Rags. Nevertheless, this one's a half to a grade 1 winner on dirt going 1.25 miles. What's kind of surprised me is that Full Effort is trained very well in the mornings for this, like surprisingly. So I don't know if he's like one of them horses that lights it up in the morning and always trains well, but he's certainly training very well into this race. He's handling the dirt very well. Yes, he's never run on dirt, but the pedigree's dirt friendly. And that kind of makes this horse a wild card. You are going to get a price on Full Effort. He's one of the 3 Brad Cox horses. To me, that Japanese horse that's undefeated in 3 races and Full Effort are the 2 wild cards in this race. So those are the 20 horses in the body of the race. You also have some also eligibles here. I'll scroll down. Great White is AE number 21. Great White's going to need a scratch to get in. He last raced in the Bluegrass Stakes at Keeneland and got beat 22 1/4 lengths by Further Ado. I don't want any part of a horse that spit the bit and got beat a city block last time out by Further Ado. I mean, if Great White draws into the race, good. He'll be off all my tickets. The 22 horse is a horse that was 3rd in the Wood Memorial. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the race for the 3-year-old fillies went almost a full second faster than the Wood Memorial. It was all long shot closers. I want no part of this horse. He'll be off all my tickets. Robusta is AE 23. He's going to need a couple of scratches. He's got no shot. And then you've got Corona d'Oro here as AE 24, and this will just be a pace factor. This horse, will go out and help the pace get a little quicker, but he's never going to get in. There's not going to be 3 scratches, I don't think. So that is my handicapping analysis of the Kentucky Derby, and this is a treacherous betting race. Last year I told you, it's a 2-horse race. It's sovereignty and journalism and sovereignty till the cows come home. Ended up picking sovereignty. This year is a very wide open race, and it's going to come down to betting value. I took all 20 horses in this race and assigned them a % chance of victory. And the 18 Further Ado was the horse that I gave the best chance to win on the betting line, but just an 18% chance to win. Renegade and Commandment both at 15% right on his heels. And those 2 horses, Renegade and Commandment, are more likely to run underneath on the ticket than Further Ado is. I kind of see Further Ado as more of a boomer bust type horse. I had Chief Wallaby, your 4th most likely winner at 11%, Emerging Mark at 8.5%, Potente 7%, the Puma 5.5%, and from there everyone else had less than a 5% chance of winning. Look, there are 3 types of races. In the A category, there's races where you don't need to do a value line. You know who you love, and you can't wait to bet them. Then there's like the B tier type of betting races where you really have to look for value and make sure you're getting value. And those are the kind of races that you're going to make an odds line for. And then there's the C tier type of races that are just El Pasos. Don't bet them. This is definitely not a C tier type of race, but it's not an A tier type of race either. This is simply a wide open race where you're going to have to try to find value. A horse like the number 19 Golden Tempo, I got him with a 4% chance of winning on my odds line, but I think he's got a really good shot to run 3rd or 4th. It's simply going to come down to finding value, finding a horse that's more attractive odds versus the chances that I think they have to win. And I hope I'm not disappointing you guys by saying that, but that's just the reality of how I see this race. So we're going to have a much better idea what the odds are going to be on Friday night. Friday night, I'll give you my 1, 2, 3, 4 picks for the race. But right now, I simply don't have tremendous conviction in this race. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back on Friday night when we can see the odds. And at that point, there'll be a lot of money bet on this race. We'll have a much firmer idea on what the odds might look like. And I'll give you some selections from there. I mean, I know I kind of sound like a wuss here, but I simply don't see this as an A-tier betting race right now. I see this as a wide open betting race where you're going to want to get value.